All right. Hello, innovators. Take number 2. So, this is actually the second time I made this now vlog today. No, these now page vlogs have been evolving. It's now the 8th one in a row, and it's interesting just being able to give you a professional and personal update in my life. This particular year, getting over 2020 and being able to get into the groove of things is still difficult. 2020, my goal was to do Omni content every day. My goal this year was to catch up on the polycasts, and it was interesting because literally at the end of the year, I did a big rush of polycast interview uploads where I just got like 40 episodes out. So because I wanted to catch up on all these guests that were waiting for their videos. And getting into kind of the meat of things right away, I had a major issue this past month. It was painful because I found out through, thank you, Adi, for pointing it to my attention. I found out that 25 out of the 60 uploaded videos that I had done were at 240p resolution, which is not even like a fourth of HD. And I record and render all my episodes at 1080. And so it was frustrating because 25 of the videos, you can't replace them. And I was relying on a tool. What that tool does is that it uses Facebook as an input. Facebook can then take that input and send it to micro content across Instagram, IGTV, LinkedIn, Facebook, all these Twitter, all these different platforms, and make little clips. Problem was, I didn't have the quotes, which we'll get to later, so I didn't make any clips. So the only thing I really used it for was repurposing from Facebook to YouTube, because YouTube at the time wasn't an input, and they're working on it now to be an input. And I still stand by that tool as like a referral link. I'll have the links on certain marketing posts and stuff like that, because I think the tool is really amazing. However, since I'm no longer using it on a weekly basis, I took it off the affiliates page. But the Repurposed tool is actually really awesome. I really respect what they're doing over there. And it was interesting though, because as it turns out, since I did them so frequently, I think is my theory, the servers on Facebook's side must have gotten overwhelmed and prevented the tool from getting the highest quality video off of there. And that's what happened, where basically instead of getting the HD video that I uploaded, it got just what the API allowed, which was 240p resolution, and then to send that over to YouTube. So I didn't find this out until later on, because I had no reason to check these old videos, because I was going to watch them over again, but I figured, okay, fine, I'll watch them when I'm ready to make the blog posts, which we'll get to later. And I found out that all these different videos were not at the standard that I would like to have, so I had to delete them. I had to delete 25 of my interviews and then go back and re-upload over 30 hours of HD content to YouTube directly. And I did it, but I had to drop everything to do it, and so some of the polycast interviews got pushed back and a lot of different things going on. Frustratingly, or positively I guess, I got it done. I got the interviews that I pushed back out, and now I'm sitting here at the beginning of March still kind of frazzled by that, because it really did impact me emotionally, because I was like, I feel like this is my brand. It looks bad upon me as a host, and I think people are very understanding about it. Everyone I reached out to that replied was very cool about it, but I still feel like that's not okay. And so each video that I'm doing is now directly getting uploaded to YouTube directly, and some of the other great things that are happening though. So I've been getting able to get more people on the show. I've been trying to slow it down though, so that way I don't get too many behind and get as many out. And so I'm kind of going back to a faster pace of release, but more on the sustainable side. I'm going to be releasing an episode tomorrow actually. And so the other thing is revamping the old blog posts. I've been doing that since the beginning of the year, and I've done over 160 at this point, and I have around 190 on the site total, because I was also doing daily Fireside Codex entries, and I thought that was really cool. But since I was revamping each post every day, or like taking a really long form post and working at it over a couple day period, the whole point was doing a writing habit every single day. And since I was already writing, I just wasn't doing the new stuff. I was revamping, or some of the posts I had were just drafts that I had for 2 years on the WordPress blog, never were touched. And so I've been working through those and actually getting them out, which is really amazing. But I was already writing, so I stopped doing the Fireside Codex for a little bit while I was getting those posts out, because some of these posts are huge. Like even just now page one is 1,200 words, let alone some of them were like 3,000 words. And last month I released a post that's probably the biggest one I've ever written, was 7,000 words. And I try to condense as much knowledge about omnichannel marketing, content marketing as I can, because I've been learning it for almost a decade now myself. And so I really try to pack it all in there as much as possible, because I felt that this was kind of an example of what my Poly Pro posts were going to look like. These long form, highly detailed posts. If I'm going to be making people pay for any kind of particular content, I want to make sure as 100% I can make it as valuable as possible. And so I wanted to use it as an example of what they would look like and also just provide value in general because I have a lot of ideas and knowledge that I wanted to share. I also really kept in a lot of interesting links to tools I haven't mentioned before and that kind of thing, including like Ustreamer and all kinds of really cool things, and Storypepper, and really cool tools that I just never got a chance to mention because it never came up. And so everything's on there. I've been working on a ton of just content in general because the POLYCASTS interviews need to have a written form. And I thought it'd be really cool to do the description that I take from like the YouTube or audio pod page, and then the takeaways. So I rewatched the video myself because that was my issue. I mentioned earlier, the quotes. I haven't had enough quotes to actually make the clips or tweets and images that I wanted to do. So what I was going to do was rewatch them, gather quotes that way, and also get a chance to relearn the great knowledge that people shared with me on the show. And on top of that, I can make these takeaways. And so someone mentioned to me, thank you Takatoshi, that it could be this idea of a polymath mental model, considering that each person I interview is multidisciplinary, maybe not polymaths themselves, but they are people who do a lot of different things, and they have their own ways of thinking. That's one reason why I had them on the show, is to understand their lives and their mindsets. And so if I could take a second and write about those ideas and mental models, it'll help other people as well. And then below that, I was hoping to have the transcriptions. Now, Facebook, for some reason, didn't transcribe or caption all of my videos, even though I told it to. So I only have most of the transcriptions. I'll figure out a way to get the rest. And I'm going to have to go through and edit them anyways, because for some reason, Facebook can't pick up polymath. For some reason, whatever. And then the other thing would be, personally, I've been able to revamp my Notion operating system that I've been working on, the dashboard, so to speak. And I just kind of had all these different systems all about. So August Bradley, for example, was a main one with his pipes, pillars, and vaults. And it just didn't work for me as much. It was a little too systematic, even for my systematic brain, because he just thinks differently. And I think he even talks about this in his channel too, where everybody's different. And the way you go about using these tools is going to be different. And so one thing I really love about like Thomas Frank and Ali Abdaal and August Bradley and Kai, they all have these different tools and mindsets and systems and templates specifically, and it's kind of, that's why I love Notion. It's kind of like Lego sets, that when you build it, sure, you could follow the instructions to the dot and make the tool, or like the house or car that they have already there, or you can take the parts and mix it to whatever you want to make it. And Notion's really like that. It's like a Lego-like system. And so I've been really working on rearranging and revamping my system and dashboard, and I really put together my own systems too. The Omni Content Database, the POLYCASTS CRM, the Modular Degree. I completely revamped the templates for that actually this past month. And so sooner or later, I'm going to be making a post where I'm going to include the link to the template for other people to use. Overall, I have the POLYCASTS interview blog posts. I have the revamped little last dozen or so blog posts that I'm finishing up. I have all of the interviews that I'm putting out, as well as the Omni content. Now, I know I've been saying for months now I'm going to get the Omni content out, but I'm feeling like it actually is getting close. I don't know if it's laziness or if I really felt like it wasn't ready just yet. But I did a talk earlier this year on the multidisciplinary spectrum, which is what the next mini-series is about. And I think I just wanted more time for that to stew and kind of develop and let the creative juices flow. Revamping the last little bit of posts, I finished doing a lot of them already, but the ones I left over, as it turns out, are some of the longer ones. I like this kind of habit of snowballing, where I'll do the lighter, easier ones first, and then over time build up heavier and heavier. That's kind of what happened here, where now that's all that's left are like my pillar posts and posts that are long form, some of which I didn't actually fully write out. They were just blanket pages that were designed and wrote out and outlined but never finished. So I'm going to finish those as well. And so there's going to be this ton of content in the backlog. I want to create this library of content that people can go into, free or paid, doesn't matter, but allowing people to come in and actually see a lot of different things. So I'm really excited about it. In fact, this video is 30 seconds shorter than the last one, so that's good. Thank you.